This is another episode of the Flight Ringers podcast. I'm David King. That's Dan Spotswood.
It's good to be here. Thank you.
We are professional cartoonists, and we are Legion of Superheroes experts. Adventure Comics 308, right?
We're actually looking at Adventure Comics 403. It came out in January 12th of 1971, and it is a reprint of The Return of Lightning Lad, which first appeared in Adventure 308 back in March 28th of 1963. We have the usual gang of idiots. Edmund Hamilton is writing, John Forte is drawing, Joe Letteries is the letter, and Mort Weisinger is the grand poobah.
This is the first one in this cycle of Lightning Lad, Death and Resurrection epic that's written by Hamilton, right?
Oh, yeah.
Well, the previous installments, there's only been two. There, Jerry Siegel wrote them.
That sounds right. I trust you on that.
I think that's right. I think I looked it up today. This is the third part, right? The first one was
Him
he
dying.
dies.
Mhm.
The second one is Legionnaire Lemon, right?
Yes.
And then there's this one. Like, if you describe the plot of this one to me, it sounds kind of exciting and interesting.
Mm-hmm.
Execution-wise, not much, not good. It's not that great.
Right. It's kind of like a gag, and it's not that great of a gag, and they just keep repeating it in every page. Like Sunboy, like mimicking his powers in different situations.
Well, it seems like there's these kind of weird setups.
Mhm.
Like, I remember when we got to the end of the death issue, I was like, it almost seems like they haven't nailed down how they're planning to bring him back, even though they tell us on the last page we're basically going to bring him back someday.
Right.
But they had these kind of clues, like
The fact that he's taken out by a freeze ray kind of leaves room in of itself. Like,
well, right, they
that
freeze
doesn't
him,
sound
and
so
then
permanent.
Yeah, they freeze him, and then they start giving Sunboy a more prominent role. So it's like, oh, is Sunboy maybe going to thaw him out somehow with his
Right.
powers? But then when they bury Lightning Lad or they put him in his tomb, they have this electrical perpetual motion
Right.
machine, and it's like maybe the perpetual motion machine is going to somehow bring it back to life.
Mm-hmm.
And then I feel like there's one other kind of story possibility, like a couple of outs for when they finally bring him
Right.
back, you know?
It's not a daring death. It's very clear from the first issue that he dies in that he will be back. It doesn't have a somber ending. You know, it's like he'll be back. Basically, will they bring him back?
I was just looking at Facebook today, though. I was looking at Paul Levitz's Facebook
Yeah.
posts, catching up on his Keith Giffen tribute posts, which
Mhm.
he's doling them out little by little, I guess. But somebody asked him, I don't know if it was in one of the Giffen posts or somewhere else, somebody asked him what his favorite of the Adventure Comics Legion stories was, and he said 304, the death issue of Lightning Lad. And he made it sound like this was very dramatic and really moving for him when they killed off the character. And one of the other people in the comments said the same thing, like dudes who are kids in the 60s and bought this
Right.
thing.
They were kids when they read it.
Yeah, maybe that's the problem. Like, I've been an adult anytime I've ever heard about this stuff.
Right.
And I've always known that he wasn't dead. But even in the issue itself, they say we're going to bring him back in a couple of months. Just wait and see how it happens, right?
Well, they're not quite that definitive, but it's something like, will Lightning Lad come back?
Yeah. Well, he doesn't come back in this issue. Spoiler.
False advertising. It says the return of Lightning Lad.
Yeah. They start out with their new flag. I love the flag.
Mm-hmm. Does
But
it stick around? It sticks around, right?
Yeah, they use it here and there. They make it seem like it's going to be a plot point in this one. They're saluting it and they describe it, and then
Well, it kind of is.
well, yeah, but they feature it so much that it makes me think, oh, they're going to put this, like the whatever the shit that makes it glow and you can see it for hundreds of miles is going to reactivate Lightning Lad when they put it over his casket. No, that's not really what happens. It's just a reason for them to go to his casket, as they have a new flag they can put over it.
Do we know that, though? I mean, it's right when he's draping it over the casket that
that he
wakes up.
moves? Yeah. But nobody was like, did the flag do this?
We start out with them saluting the flag, and then they decide they need to drape one over his tomb. So then Mon-El and Saturn Girl conveniently write themselves out of the story, as they often do, because he's too powerful and she can read minds. We're going to leave now, so this isn't a 2-pager. We've got to go deal with some space fungus. Did I lose you?
Why are they more suited to space fungus than Sunboy? Sunboy could kill space fungus. Maybe they don't kill it. Maybe because it's a living organism, they don't kill
Well,
it.
Mon-El's all powerful. He can use his heat vision. And Saturn Girl, being a woman, is good at cleaning, scrubbing tile. Maybe she can
Oh yeah,
use
she
her
knows how to
domestic
use.
prowess. To,
She knows how to do all that stuff that the boys don't.
right.
Yeah. Well, is she still the leader? She was the leader in the death issue.
Hmm.
She must still be the leader now.
I really ought to nail all that down. I'm sure it's all been worked out by someone.
Whatever. I'm just going to say that Saturn Girl is still the leader. That's why she's handling the space fungus and sending the rest of the team to do the memorial stuff. Supposedly she's in love with Lightning Lad, but she's not going to handle the solemn ceremony of draping the new Legion flag over his tomb.
What issue are we looking at? 308,
308.
right?
Yeah,
Be Saturn Girl.
definitely is.
Because she is from 304 to 323.
Whoa, that's a long tenure.
But a lot of this happens off panel, I guess. Brainiac 5 is the next known leader, but that isn't till 337. And even then it happens off panel. Looks like the next time it's mentioned who the leader is, I guess. They just go issues and issues without even bringing it up.
Could be anybody, huh? And they're just a club. They don't really need a leader.
Right.
But like you said, Lightning Lad starts to move around in his tomb as they lay their brand new flag across him. And they lift him up, and he seems like he has amnesia.
Right. They think maybe that the perpetual lightning may have sparked him.
Just like I said, that might have started him up.
Mm-hmm.
You'll notice that Supergirl's here in this panel on the third page.
Oh, yeah.
Mon-El split, and we got Supergirl for one panel. She doesn't do anything in this story at all, but she's there for a panel.
Yeah, it's kind of a strange addition. Like maybe he drew Saturn Girl or something, and they're like, oh wait, they had to like put an S on it.
Well, there's also another goof later. I guess I'll point it out. Maybe you saw it too.
Yeah, Cosmic Boy, being the brilliant sleuth that he is, makes a brilliant deduction that his memory is missing. Maybe his powers are too. Stands to reason.
Yeah, and they kind of like he's whispering this to Sunboy,
right?
And then after a little recap of his origin. Well, yeah, the origin thing is it flies in the face of what we know of the actual origin of the team, because Lightning Lad says, now maybe I can get into the Legion of Superheroes with these powers that the Lightning Beasts have given me.
Right, but this is before their origin story, right?
Yeah.
So we don't necessarily know that the first three that we see are the founding members. Even in the first issue, even though everyone's nondescript, there's other members of the team there. It's kind of silly that the first three that we see actually turn out to be the founding members.
Yeah, they didn't have to do it that way, but it's sort of like like the gut instinct of a super fan would be like, oh yeah, of course they're the first three. And one of them is the pure, beautiful soul.
I understand that instinct. I understand that instinct because it fucking pisses me off when later writers try to say Supergirl joined before Superboy. That's bullshit.
If you say so.
He was there in the first appearance.
First appearance of the
Legion.
Yeah, but there's already people on the team. Supergirl could have been one of them.
If you say so.
I don't care one way or the other.
Mm-hmm. Do you know by chance, and I know that you don't, is this the first time we're seeing the Lightning Beast origin?
Mm-hmm.
See, we're at issue 308, so they haven't.
I bet it is. I bet this is the first time.
I like how each time the story is told, there's an extra person there. Like this first time we're reading it, he's by himself. Later it's recapped, there's two people, and then we know later on it's recapped yet again, and there are three.
I know. Like what I was thinking is that they could have been on a tour bus with 100 people,
right?
And just like they never told the story that way to make the rest of the team or the audience realize that, yeah, it wasn't just me alone. Of course not.
Right.
My parents were there. My grandparents were there. A bunch of strangers were there. Like they could even use that as some logic to have whatever 1 billion lightning people around, or that's why they didn't all get killed, because the lightning power is distributed among all the 100 people. So the lightning beasts were unable to kill us all, or something.
I guess it isn't super different than the single rocket ship flying away from Krypton as it blew up, and then we find out, oh, there was another rocket and another one and another and another one. Oh, and his chimpanzee too, and there was an ocelot and a zebra.
Ocelot. The lightning beasts, what is this thing? What is it supposed to be? Like the little deal on their head, like the lightning horn?
I don't know,
But
is it like a Tesla coil or something?
yeah, it looks like the Tesla coil in his perpetual motion Tesla. Well, it's a little different than those, isn't it? Yeah, how are they? Whatever. They're just ugly fucking critters anyway.
He's stranded. He gets the brilliant idea he can trick these animals into zapping his ship and charge it up so he can leave. And he gets caught in the crossfire wearing his original costume.
Yeah, he's already got his Legionnaire costume,
which he'll switch away from to become Lightning Boy and then flip back.
Oh right, like his red costume must have got dirty and he had to go back to his civvies, and he's like, "Hey, my regular clothes already had lightning bolts. I guess I'll just keep wearing these."
Right.
Yeah, I think it's a very dumb, dangerous plan, very irresponsible of him trying to get wild animals to charge up his spaceship, and naturally they instead try to kill him. Anyway, they're going to try and test him back in the present day, back post recap of his origin. They're going to test him back to their usual ways of hazing and challenging their members.
There's kind of a duel going on throughout the story between Cosmic Boy and Sun Boy. Cosmic Boy is suspicious and he seems intent on proving he doesn't have the power so that I guess he can disqualify his friend. And Sun Boy is trying to cover for him because he doesn't think he can take the disappointment of being thrown off the team right after he was brought back to life.
Yeah, there's something about that doesn't quite ring true to me. Like if I had been dead and I got a second chance at life, I don't know if I would be heartbroken if my old job didn't take me back or something.
Right.
You know what I mean? Like,
I want to see my family.
Yeah.
And call my mom, whatever.
Yeah, maybe it would stink if they had to give him the axe right away. But he would also understand, especially if he didn't have any superpowers. I know he would understand.
Also, like the motivations, like Cosmic Boy, we know he's known Lightning Lad since the beginning. Like if anyone would be loyal to him out of these two guys, it would be Cosmic Boy, not Sun Boy, who has probably enjoyed having Lightning Lad out of the picture so he can have a more prominent role in this feature.
Well, yeah, he used to be. I mean, for a while, he was the only red-haired guy, and now there's another fucking red-haired guy again.
Right.
And we know the disposition of red-haired people, and they're like this. Yeah. You know.
Right. Blasted gingers.
But I'm with Cosmic Boy. I think if they have an unpowered character floating around pretending to have powers, it's kind of a liability. Somebody could get hurt.
Right. He changes his tune on that later, right? In 5 years later, because he's the unpowered guy.
Oh, right. Yeah, you're right. But yeah, Sunboy's trying to cover for Lightning Lad the whole time. And it's just over and over. They get this guy, John R. Cole, who's a scientist. And he sends him on a mission. But were you thinking like, oh, this guy's named after like Ed Hamilton's neighbor, John R. Cole, or something like that, you know? Like John
I always wonder if it's some sort of pun or someone in the office. I was also wondering, is this super tough new metal, what do they call it? Is it interferon? No, it's not.
It's Inertron.
Inertron, the adamantium of the Legion universe.
I don't know how early they introduced that stuff. Probably not this early. There's some made up metals later on in this comic that he talks about. Maybe it's one of those.
I kind of hate that metal because once Levitz gets a hold of it, like that's all Element Lad ever does.
Yeah, encased in Inertron.
Yeah, the same shit over and over. Yeah, so they need his electricity for the experiment, and Sunboy, who's convinced he doesn't have powers anymore, figures out a way to artificially to replicate his powers by using like heat to create a lightning storm.
Yeah, I mean, that's a good use of his powers, actually, like controlling the weather. Like, yeah, use Sunboy for that a little more often.
Right.
Never does that again.
Right. One and done. Then the science police, looking extra fascist in this issue, pop up.
Oh yeah, they're in
dressed up like dictators,
olive drab. Oh yeah, he totally looks like he's planning a coup or something.
Right. He looks like Silver Age General Zod.
But he wants the Legionnaires to go and find the thieves' planet. It's an emergency.
They can't find it, so they land somewhere and wait for a criminal ship to come by, and they preemptively attack it.
Well, yeah, like how do they know it's a criminal ship? Like
maybe he's going to attack us. They take him down.
Like what makes it a criminal ship? Like do they look at the driver and they can tell by who's driving the criminal ship
whether it's kind of an older ship. It's not all nice and new.
Like there's a 3-headed guy flying the spaceship.
Right.
Got to be criminals, right? Let's
Brainiac
blow them out of the
Brainiac
sky.
Brainiac 5 is like, if it's a criminal ship, it will attack us. So they decide to just take him down. He might have a gun. Shoot.
I didn't even notice that the Legionnaires take over this ship with guns.
Yeah.
The guys on the ship, the bad guys, are a 3-headed race of aliens from the Hydra world.
Right. And they're apparently like stealing rare or like possibly endangered species from zoos to guess sell in the black market, I guess, to sell for rich people to eat, probably.
Probably, yeah. They probably bring them for food to poor people, I would imagine. That's...
Oh, okay.
They're probably not that rare. They're just regular livestock.
Oh, okay.
And that's how the Legion treats them anyway.
Sure, for sure.
Their plan for the beasts is to use the beasts, and the Legion is going to pretend to be the criminals, and they wheel them onto their ship. They don't even care.
And also, this is like stolen property, right? From the innocent zoos, I guess. And
I guess
Chameleon Boy's like, I like this guy. I think I'll just keep him.
Yeah.
Never mind returning him to his habitat. Like, this is mine now.
Yeah, this is Prody 1, right?
Yes.
Prody 1, he doesn't last as long as I thought he had.
Well, like I mean, 30 freaking years. What are you talking about?
What? No, that's Prody 2 is the one we see most of the time. Prody 1.
What are you talking about? We hardly ever see Prody 2, except in like Super Pet stories. Well, Prody 1, we see every single issue for like...
I guess I just meant that prior to Prody making the quote-unquote ultimate sacrifice in the restoration issue of Lightning Lad, he hadn't really been around too long. I thought he was Chameleon Boy's pet for quite a while, but no, he's maybe... I don't know what issue the resurrection issue is. It's not the next one. It's a few down the road, but Prody's not around for too long before that one happens.
Or he starts banging Saturn Girl.
What blows my mind is that Chameleon Boy says, Prody is a greater disguise artist than I am. Legionnaire Chameleon Boy admits that Prody is better at being a shapeshifter than he is himself.
Well, he's obviously not a very good one, because their grand plan is to go impersonate pirates on this thieves world, and none of them, including him, make any effort to disguise themselves. They just walk up in their superhero costumes. They don't even put like eye patches on or anything.
Yeah, he could have fucking done Star Wars.
Right. He could have been a pirate and they could have been the prisoners.
Exactly.
And Super Genius Brainiac 5 doesn't speak up either. He's like, this is a good plan.
Here's the goof where Mon-El and Invisible Kid are there all of a sudden helping these guys load the zoo onto their ship. And then they're gone. They don't show up again.
Well, maybe Lyle had been there the whole time, invisible. I don't know about Mon-El. He finished dealing with the fungus.
Well, yeah, see, that was a whole other mission.
Right.
Like they've done a couple of things, right? They tested Lightning Lad a couple of times. It's kind of confusing. I don't think the story is quite ironed out. Where Saturn Girl and Mon-El leave and say, you guys go and do the thing at the memorial, and that's like one day, and then he's back alive for how long? They test him. I guess they only tested him one time, maybe two times, before they get the mission to go after the space pirates.
Right. Well, they're out of the picture. So
Mon-El could have come back.
They're out of the picture, presumably, at least in Saturn Girl. Like Mon-El probably, because he's too darn powerful, but Saturn Girl would probably immediately realize that Lightning Lad is not who he seems to be. No?
Yeah. I'm just trying to look at this from the point of view of an 8-year-old.
Oh, right. I just think they write her, I've noticed this a few times, they seem to write her out if it's something that she could like immediately pick up on with her powers.
I'm sure that's what it is.
Plus, they probably didn't want to mess with the emotional reunion and all that. Well, we got 6 pages here. We got to go.
Anyway, yeah, they find it. It's the thieves' planet. It's hidden away.
And Mon-El, by the way, he sees everything, so he would immediately notice Lightning Lad is missing some of his equipment.
Oh, right, true. But he might not be observant in the same way that all the rest of the Legionnaires, except Sunboy, are not observant.
All I know, if I was on that team, I'd be wearing lead-lined underwear.
Why? Are you embarrassed about what's inside your underwear?
I know. I don't trust Mon-El. I don't trust that guy. Actually, I don't know how his power. Maybe he can see through lead and he can't see through kryptonite
Yeah, I think that's
since
probably
everything's sort
it.
of inversed.
Right.
Right.
Or if he looks through red kryptonite underwear, it makes your dick look even bigger.
You'd get bizarro eyeballs if you look through red kryptonite.
Uh-huh. Anyway, they penetrate the invisibility force that's around the thieves' planet
Mhm.
and find it. And there's a bazaar on the thieves' planet that they have to wander through, where there's some pyramid dudes selling living liquid artwork.
Yeah. Yeah.
I wonder if should the living liquid be in a zoo? Like how intelligent is the living liquid? If you buy and sell artwork made of living liquid, or is it like the slave trade or something like that?
Maybe. But maybe they don't mean it's literally living.
That's what they
Some
say.
toys will have a name like that if it's something that moves.
I would prefer to think that it's actually alive and that these guys enslaved them to become awful artwork.
They do look like intergalactic KKK guys, kind of.
And then this ant guy offers to sell them,
An element tree.
yeah, an element tree. But also, first of all, he's from a planet Canopus. And I wonder if it's like a planet of dogs and cats, like Kano and Puss,
Oh.
like Canine and Pussycat.
Like can of pussy.
Canopussy.
They have that in the future.
It's like a fleshlight or
It's
something.
like a
like
flashlight.
that.
Yeah.
It's like Cup of Pussy. Remember the jerk? And he's like, "This is the best cup of pizza I've ever had." But yeah, the leaves on the element tree are a couple of them are some kind of made up metal, I guess. I tried to look up maglium and zernium, and they both didn't really give me any results.
No.
But they get busted by an autumn guard.
Mm-hmm. They're not anagrams, are they? What do you call a word that's just like Enid coleslaw, where you
Oh,
just rearrange the letters?
I don't know what those are called. I can't think of that.
Well, anyway, I think there's like a solver for that. Like you can type in a word and it will generate
Oh,
10,
definitely.
15 possible real words that it is.
Yeah.
I need to remember to try typing some of these fake names in there and see if I come up with anything.
Oh, like maglium.
Yeah, probably not Maglium because that kind of sounds like a real one, even though it's not. But it's not like that fake name a few pages ago. Or,
Oh, John Arcole.
Right.
Yeah. It's a boring comic. Just trying to talk about it's boring. They get busted by the cops, or I guess there's the thieves planet still has an active security force. Most times when there's a thieves planet, it's chaos, right? The thieves, these guys don't want authority figures. They just want crime all the time.
Yeah, you were saying it's boring. It's kind of a lazy comic. There's a lot of like lazy moments in it. Like when those Hydra guys show up, instead of like figuring out a good name for them, like, I don't know, Hydro Tours or something like that. They're just like these aliens from the Hydra planet. They don't want to come up with a name. And there's a couple other lazy moments like that where they don't want to. Oh yeah, like the villain. They describe him, but they never bother to name him.
Oh right, yeah, yeah. They get like the security guys. They make the Legionnaires go and meet the boss of the thieves planet. Yeah, and it's just a species of pure electrical energy is what
Right.
They describe him as.
Well, when I first read it, I misread it, and I thought they said we're taking you to the master of the world, and I was like, that's a good Silver Age name, but it's actually, we're taking you to the master of this world, and they never bothered to tell us who he is.
Well, and they kill him at the end.
Yeah, and they're being stupid as usual. They think they can trick this guy with mental powers.
Right, he can read their thoughts.
Mm-hmm.
And he instantly imprisons them, or instantly decides to imprison them, and they go into a what the fuck is it? A jewel jail?
And apparently he's not able to read Lightning Lad's mind, because we know that whoever Lightning Lad really is does have electrical powers.
Lightning Lad's a zombie throughout this whole comic. He doesn't speak. He's not allowed to attempt to use his powers. Like, what the fuck? Does he not have brainwaves? He's got amnesia. Maybe because he's pretending to have amnesia, the energy master of this world thinks he actually does have amnesia and doesn't bother to read his mind any farther.
Right. Maybe it can only read male brains.
Well, he does seem like he's unable to read Proteus' brain.
Oh, yeah.
But he doesn't like the Legion. He says, I know you guys are the Legionnaires. I'm putting you in Jewel jail. Who do you think is in there? Wouldn't it be funny if they go into the Jewel jail cell and there's a figure back in the shadow who's like, I've been here for so long. I haven't had any company in 100 years, blah, blah, blah. And they're like, who are you? And she comes out, and it's Jewel. She's been in Jewel jail since the 90s.
Man, you had me going like you were going to have something really good there.
That didn't make you laugh at all, huh?
It was good. No, it was good.
Jewel. I actually saw her, like one of her Instagram stories got fed to me the other day. Jewel. She's still around. She's still out there. I mean, of course she would still be out there, but she's not.
She like
old.
A Make America Great Again kind of person now, or?
She was hanging out with George Clooney at some movie thing, it looked like. Oh. Still looking pretty good, Jewel.
Yeah.
I mean, she's got to be only like 5 years older than us, right? She's not some old person, even though she was famous in 1993, 30 years ago.
I think she's old. Do you know who Juliana Hatfield is? Or what?
I recognize the name, yeah.
She was
big around that same time.
Right. And she was in the Lemonheads for a little while, maybe heard of them. Anyway, I'm not saying she's an unattractive woman now, but she's very clearly a very old woman now. And it's very strange. You know, it's like I'm in constant denial about how old I actually am. And then I see other people who I don't have that bias filter on, and like, oh, they're old, but that means I'm old.
I guess maybe I just don't see it as much. Like, I still guess these people look okay.
Yeah.
I don't know. Maybe, I mean, I haven't seen Juliana Hatfield. I don't know. But I went to see the State the other night on their live show. Mm-hmm. But they don't seem that old. I mean, they seem like adults, you know?
Yeah.
And to me, they seem like they've always been adults. But when they had their show in the 90s, they were like 23 or something, you know? They were 5 years older than me. Mm-hmm. And so seeing them now, it's like, yeah, they're the same age as me practically. They're just like adult people doing their stuff. They don't seem that old. And I kind of feel like that's maybe how it is with a lot of, like, when we're in high school and junior high, mm-hmm. the rockers who are new, mm-hmm. they're in their 20s. They're not that much older than us, you know? But I don't know about Juliana Hatfield and the Lemonheads and all that shit. They
missed out, man.
Sounds kind of old-fashioned. All I know about Lemonheads is they did that Mrs. Robinson cover.
Oh, yeah.
That probably sunk their career, right?
Kind of made them famous.
Oh, really? I never heard of them before or after.
It's because you weren't cool.
All I did was watch MTV. I didn't have access to Columbia House Records store. Didn't have any money. Didn't know any
college
other kids.
Radio.
Yeah, there's no college radio where I was. I'm not a big city guy like you.
City slicker. That's right. Grew up in the sticks.
We had 2 radio stations, and the one played country and the other played Western.
Went to school in an old farmhouse.
Yep, 1-room schoolhouse.
Had to wear your sister's clothes.
Oh, I wanted to do that, though.
Right. Yeah, out there. You're out where they intelligent design. Didn't it start out there?
Well, no, I think that started when Jesus invented the first humans.
Oh, okay.
That's where it all started. Yeah, there's been a lot of awful shit that happened here. Or in my hometown, not here. Not here in Los Angeles, nothing awful ever happened.
Right.
Here.
I don't know if intelligent design started there, but I think there was a big trial in Topeka involving it.
You know, that might not have been. There was the Brown versus Board of Education thing, which was about desegregation. Right. That was in my town, my hometown.
That was in Topeka?
I believe so, yeah.
Really? That can't be right.
I better look it up.
Oh, Brown versus Board was in Topeka. You're right. That was a good decision, right? Wasn't that pro-integration?
Yeah, I believe it was pro-integration or desegregation or whatever you call it.
So that maybe that'll cancel out either the intelligent design business or Fred Phelps.
Fred Phelps. I think Fred Phelps has not really made the dent in history that I'm sure he wished he had, you know? Like, they're clowns, and I bet they're still out there with their stupid signs and shit, but they're not as big as they were in the 90s or in the 2000s or whatever.
Well, they got a lot of national attention at the time. Like, I remember... Like if Kansas or the Midwest in general was being brought up by like Jay Leno or something, it would be about like Fred Phelps or intelligent design, about them trying to get evolution out of the science books. I'm like, there's some good shit happened here too, guys. I don't know.
Yeah, we had John Brown.
That's true.
I bet most people wouldn't think he was good anymore, but he was pretty good, seemed like. I mean, he was cuckoo, but he was anti-slavery.
I think he's better regarded now than he was when I was growing up. Because,
Could be.
well, I think people were on the side of him back then, but I think because he was a violent nut, maybe that worked against him. Whereas now we're in no, punching Nazis is good. So,
Yeah, we can look up to people like that because there are so few people who are willing to go for the violent angle.
right.
And I mean, you couldn't even get away with something like that now. Like you would be sniped right away, right?
He'd be hung.
By the police. Yeah. I mean, John Brown got hung.
Yeah, I know. That's what I said. Yeah.
But you would be hung before you even got off the ground. But he was murdering people, I think. But they still have his awesome portrait up in the state capitol.
I redrew that once for somebody.
Wow.
Yeah, like in my cartooniest style, but
It's great. I want a poster of the real thing.
yeah, it is cool. It's very cool. There's a convention in Lawrence every year that's like the symbol of the show, and they'll do like comic variations of it or John Brown every year. Often it'll be like a redrawing of Fantastic Four 1 or something with him. That's not a good example. Maybe like Spider-Man 1 or something with John Brown.
Still sounds dorky, but okay.
Yeah.
I like the sentiment.
Where were we?
Jewel jail.
They're in Jewel jail.
Yeah, and again, Sunboy covers for Lightning Lad. Sunboy tries to blow the hell out of the jail with his sun power.
It's kind of a fun panel, a little more dynamic than most in this book, where it's like ricocheting. Everyone's having to duck.
And right out of Star Wars again. I guess the last idea we had wasn't in the comic. It just should have been in the comic.
Right.
This one, they actually did a Star Wars thing.
It's kind of a weird, I guess it would work, but just a weird visual thing, like a guy trapped behind bars holding a gun at you and saying, "Let me out."
Yeah, it wouldn't work.
I feel like I would like duck and like go get the authorities instead of like let you out.
Yeah, when the trying to blast their way out with their powers doesn't work, Chameleon Boy uses his new pet who has superior superpowers to his own shape-shifting abilities to disguise himself as a gun. And when the guy delivers the food, he pulls the fake gun on the guy delivering the food, and the dude is so scared that he's going to shoot him through this little slit in the door.
Right.
That he lets them free. I think the fucking energy master guy is going to be a bit unhappy with that prison guard.
Maybe Chameleon Boy just wasn't that creative in his youth. I don't know. It seems like he should be able to like just turn his hand into that.
Yeah.
I guess up to now though, we do see him do. He's an inanimate object sometimes, isn't he? I know he's a trash can at least once.
I'm sure he can do anything he wants. Just for this comic, he doesn't do shit.
Mostly he's just like fictional animals, kind of a variation of Aquaman. Like Aquaman is always using his telepathy to bring fictional sea creatures that can solve whatever problem he's in, like some sort of animal that can chop through bars. Chameleon Boy is always turning into fictional aliens with whatever power he needs.
Yeah.
To suit
them. He could have turned himself into a gun and had Cosmic Boy threaten.
He should be able to turn his hand into a hand holding a gun.
He could have turned into a gun, and Prody could have turned into a bullet.
Oh.
And
then I don't know. Once he penetrated the guy, he could start expanding.
Right.
Start coming out of his nose and his ears. This guy's a tool. Chameleon Boy gave him the idea to become a gun. So he should have been able to do it himself, but maybe he's just not a very good mimic. It wouldn't be a convincing gun.
Like Prody can do a better gun.
He said he's better at shape-shifting than him. Like I was never a gun kid. I never drew guns. A lot of kids drew guns and cars in class. Like to this day, I can make a serviceable one for someone who likes guns about as much as I do would fall for. But anyone who knows anything about guns is like, what the fuck is that?
Yeah, I was never a gun guy either.
Right.
I don't know that
Topeka.
I don't know that Prody would be a gun guy. Prody was in jail in a zoo.
He's probably thinking about guns a lot.
But I bet I've never seen a gun.
Except the zookeepers are holding him, probably. Keep him in.
But whatever. They get loose, the Legionnaires, and they're wreaking havoc on all the criminals on the thieves' paradise. Bouncing Boy bounces one.
They're all just refugees.
Chameleon Boy is still going around just threatening people with the fake gun. He doesn't use his powers at all. So lame. And then the energy blob master guy attacks him, and guess who has superpowers? Lightning Lad.
What?
And Lightning Lad kills the energy master.
Does Chameleon Boy turn into anything in this whole story?
I don't think he does.
Why isn't Cosmic Boy on his ass? Like, I haven't seen Chameleon Boy change shape once in this issue. Maybe he's lost his power. We need to kick him out too.
Right, it really does seem like Chameleon Boy has lost his power. But also Brainiac 5 hasn't really done anything too intelligent either.
Par for the course, if you ask me. But yeah, like when the supposed Lightning Lad is taking out the bad guy, Brainiac 5 is just like standing in the middle of everything, clueless, right in the way of everything.
Well, in the panel before that, the Energy Master guy, I guess, uses his powers to take away everybody else's powers because he's read their minds and somehow counters their powers with his powers.
Right.
And Sunboy's like, I'm paralyzed. I can't move.
Can't use my superpower.
And Brainiac 5, he says, and I too. All
like
of us.
Like he's dumb now.
He sounds really dumb. Yeah, he's like monosyllabic and dumb.
Right. He can't hit the button on his force field belt.
Yeah.
This barrage is going on.
I don't know if he meant to sound dumb. And I guess that's why he's stuck in the middle, because he can't move. But there isn't an effect on Lightning Lad because the Energy Master guy, it's not a guy, Energy Master thing didn't ever bother to read Lightning Lad's mind because Lightning Lad is just sleepwalking through this whole comic until right now.
Right.
Like on the first panel, he's like literally looks like he's sleepwalking. Right here with his arms out.
Right.
Lightning Lad kills him. He turns him into a blob.
Just melts him down.
But then it's revealed. Like Cosmic Boy is like, I guess I was wrong. You do have powers. I should have maybe brought it to your direct attention with my suspicions that you have no powers. But I've been testing you and criticizing you behind your back the whole time, thinking maybe you didn't. But I guess you do. Congratulations. You're still cool with me.
Sunboy knew all along, being the dirtbag that he is, he's always checking chicks for Adam's apples, just to make sure.
He's checking guys for Adam's apples, right?
I don't know. I think he's always looking for him to make sure that...
Like one way or the other, like whatever person he sees, like, are you a woman?
Right.
Let me see your Adam's apple, lift your chin a little bit. In this case, he's like, who is this cute person? Adam's apple? No, all right. I like this masculine lady.
If I cover her for this chick... Maybe I'll get some action.
Whoever she is.
She might be an imposter here to destroy the Legion, but I might be able to get some tail if I help her out.
He says, I've suspected from the first
right.
that this is a girl double.
Yep.
Like it's such a stupid tacked on thing.
Right.
Like no, what you suspected from the first is that he doesn't have any powers.
Right.
But now you also suspect that he's a girl with no powers. So what was this? What did you think was happening here? Why are you covering for an unpowered girl who is passing herself off as a superpowered boy member of your team who used to be dead 5 minutes ago?
He's just trying to get her number, man.
Is that it? That's all he's after is like,
yeah.
Like, yeah, that's what you said, huh? That's so weird. Like, are there guys like that who will do anything? Like, is he going to like do some kind of weird shitty blackmail thing later on?
Well, he says here, I guess, as you were Lightning Lad's double, I figured you must be his twin sister trying to take his place.
Right. I knew he had a twin sister because I was flipping through his photo album.
Yeah.
I'm just looking for ladies.
Right.
To see photographs of.
Hoping to find some pictures of Saturn Girl.
But also, like, they don't look alike. It's not like, he says, I thought you must be her sister because you're a double. But they're, like, I'll make a joke that they're identical twins, but they are not identical twins.
I think they can look kind of alike, right?
Yeah, but like on the next page, when they show her, he is strongman body type, and she's a curvy lady body type.
Yeah, but she could be wearing like padding or something like that.
Oh, yeah. You think she has one of those superhero costumes that has like the foam bumps, like a six-pack and abs and stuff?
What I noticed this time around, and I didn't originally remember it this way, is she had this haircut the whole time, and that's less fun to me. Like, in the flashbacks, she should have long hair, I think. And the idea is like she cut her hair shorter to pass as him.
Well, that's what Sunboy says she did that.
But if you look in the flashbacks, she
has kind of a beehive type of,
right.
Yeah. Oh, and she has it again in present day.
Well, in the present, I'm thinking like she's teased it or something, like it's shorter. It's not long,
Oh.
long hair. So
Yeah, they should have done that. I think it's this really seems slapped together all the way through.
yeah, it's like it was made for grade school kids or something. What
I
the hell,
guess.
man?
But I feel like the Siegel episodes held together
Yeah.
were a little bit more sensible than this one. But
Yeah.
what really frosted me, I guess, is in this last panel. Well, the last two panels, I guess. Cosmic Boy is like, when we vote on new members, we'll bring you in unanimously because you've already proved yourself. Talking to
Lightning Lass.
Lightning Lad's sister.
Uh-huh.
And then after they take the vote later, I guess it's in the next to last panel, Sunboy says, you more than anyone helped break up the Thieves Planet. And then they're like, you're such a big hero, we're going to admit you unanimously onto the team.
Right.
But no credit for Prody. Like Prody, who's a master of disguise, better even than Chameleon Boy, who never did any chameleoning on this
Right.
adventure.
Also, no mention here, like, they're like, welcome to the team, but if your brother comes back, you're gone because we can only have one lightning-powered person on the team at a time.
Well, I feel like maybe they're beginning to cope with the idea that Lightning Lad is dead and he's not coming back. We're replacing him with someone else now.
Oh, okay.
I mean, I don't know. Like, as a kid reading this, are you thinking like, oh, yeah, I bet you are. I bet you're starting to think like it was a bitter pill at first
Yeah.
that such a hero could be lost to us and that light has gone out of the universe. But life goes on. Now we've got a new lightning person who's identical genetically. Yeah, it's going to be okay, right? We don't even need him back.
That makes sense. But of course, the last thing said in the comic is she hopes someday the real Lightning Lad. So they're still hinting at that story possibility.
Yeah.
And what's up with him being in this linen tomb anyway? Some creepy shit. Maybe they're better at preserving dead bodies in the future. But
Probably.
I was showing my son some pictures of that in a magazine today. Pretty fucking crazy.
What did he think?
He thinks it's awesome. He likes mummies and Egypt and all that. And it was like a Life magazine special for like $18 or something ridiculous, and it's all various mummies around the world.
Oh, cool.
Yeah.
But speaking of the tomb, she says that in this last panel, or the last page, second panel, Lightning Lass, but they don't say what her actual name is, by the way. She says that she brought Lightning Lad's body to a lightning world that no one ever visits, and that's where his tomb is.
Oh, okay. Because I was about to ask, like, what did she do with the body, like when she took his place in there?
Yeah, but what's weird is that
throw it in a closet.
At the beginning of the comic, they go to his tomb, and they never say it's like, they make it seem like it's in the other room, right? When they go to take the flag, and in the issue where he dies, they never say it's on another planet. They make it seem like it's by headquarters, right?
Well, I think it's somewhere away. Otherwise, Saturn Girl and Mon-El would have just walked in with them, and when they had to go somewhere.
They were in a rush to go to the fungus, but these guys took the flag just in the other room. Like, walk. They don't fly it. They just walk over there.
Yeah.
To me, that kind of seemed weird.
I don't think they're keeping his body in the clubhouse. You're saying like it's across the street or something?
Yeah, it's at the funeral home or something. See, in the third panel, Saturn Girl's like, you guys do that. And then the Legionnaires make a sad pilgrimage to Lightning Lad's tomb, and they're walking there. It doesn't imply that they flew to another planet. They took the flag and walked over.
Yeah, where's this crypt?
Yeah, they show him leaving the crypt, right, in the death issue.
Mm-hmm.
It says it's on Earth.
It is
as
on
Earth? The caption says, on Earth, as the superheroes leave the crypt.
Mm.
Yeah, there's some wires got crossed when Mort fired Jerry Siegel and handed the reins over to Hamilton. He didn't read everything. But even this part where she says, I took his body to the tomb on Lightning World, doesn't even jive up with the third panel of this comic on the first page, you know?
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
But she says she took his crypt. It's really weird. She took the whole crypt up there, and the Legionnaires were cool with that, I guess.
Yeah.
And she hid his dead body and pretended to be him.
Later, they land on the strange world of Eternal Lightning, where Lightning Lad lies entombed.
What? Where the fuck is that?
That's in the next story.
Oh,
but maybe that's the place she took it to, right?
So she says she took the crypt there, but yeah, she just took his body there. and she hid out on Earth in the tomb. His crypt is his coffin. Is that what that means? Is a crypt the same as a coffin? I thought a crypt was the same as a tomb.
I thought so too.
I don't know. Are we just stupid? Are we dumb people who don't know what a crypt is? Like, why would they have a crypt keeper just keeping one coffin? I'm looking it up right now.
I thought the crypts were those, aren't those like the above ground? No, maybe not. Those above ground structures that hold more than one.
No,
rich people get those?
that's a mausoleum. Wikipedia says a crypt is a stone chamber beneath the floor of a church or other building. It typically contains coffins, sarcophagi, or relics. So she couldn't
man.
take his crypt. She meant his coffin.
Hmm.
That's why I was confused. Because she said she moved the whole works to this other lightning planet under the nose, I guess, of the Legionnaires. But really, what she meant to say was that in order to disguise herself as her brother, she had to hide his dead body on a lightning planet.
Right.
And then this is another one of those red herring types of clues that I keep seeing throughout these, where it's like, oh, he's on the lightning planet. Surely he's just going to get struck by lightning and resurrected. And that's
Right.
kind of what happens, I guess. This is where Hamilton shifts gears into what's really going to revive him, right?
Mhm.
Because they go with their magic wands later, probably. Well, I don't want to spoil it. But that's the end. Now they got a new member of the team until she gets unseated by the promised return of her dead brother Lightning Lad. What are you reading?
What is this about the lightning monsters on your left? About
Oh,
George
this-
Tuska and
There's a little editorial thing in the reprint. I think in the original comic, this is probably an ad.
Yeah, of course.
And in this one, yeah, they mention that everything is different in the subsequent years. That we know that Lightning Lord was also on that spaceship, along with maybe 100 other people on a tour bus.
well, what I'm wondering is, does this
And then,
mean this was not the first recap of his origin?
No, I think they're talking about George Tuska. George
Mhm.
Tuska is a later generation than John Fort was.
Right, but it says he used the original origin story of Lightning Lad. And
Oh.
when John Forte did this tale, he lacked that reference.
Oh yeah, I didn't read it right, did I?
So this is the second time we've seen his origin recapped.
Weird. I wonder when the first time was. Why do they need to keep retelling Lightning Lad's
Because they
story?
have to keep adding people.
Adding people to his spaceship, huh?
Right. He's just a liar. Like the first time I was all by myself. I
was all by myself and I stood up to the menace of these.
all right, my sister was there and it was her idea.
And my older brother was there too. Yeah.
I actually didn't do anything. I was along for the ride.
See, I'm trying to remember if that Jeff Johns thing where he was trying to say that Lightning Lord also had a twin. Wonder if that guy was retconned into being on the spaceship too. The crashed lightning place.
I fucking hate twins. I hate them. In comic books, I hate twins.
Oh, really?
I think there should be some kind of ban on twins.
Why? Just because they always take each other's place and stuff like that? Like it bugs you?
Just
or what?
played out like it's popular, at least in the last 20 years or so. Got really bad in the Flash. Like every character in the Flash has a twin. Every single one of them.
Like a literal twin or like an alternate universe double? or
No, a
something?
literal twin. Like Barry Allen has a twin. Wally West has a twin. They all have twins.
What the
Yeah.
fuck?
Yeah, it's
Why did they do
Well-
that? Did they do it to say that like the Tornado Twins is like genetic or something?
that's where it started. And they've just exploited it as time goes, one at a time, like where it's not really Barry, it's his evil twin or something for dramatic purpose. But at this point, they all have twins. It's just an overused trope.
I think it's stupid, but I think it's funny. So I think maybe
Mhm.
I disagree with you. I think maybe everybody
Okay.
should have a twin that could come out of the woodwork at any time.
Right.
Well, I thought for the last 100 months, I thought I was talking to Dan Spotswood, but nope. I've actually been talking to whatever Dawn Spotswood. Yeah.
That's right.
Fuck. You look exactly like him, except you don't have an Adam's apple. You fucking.
The beard is fake.
Uh
DAWN.
huh. yeah. Your identical twin sister.
Right.
Your beautiful identical twin sister has been impersonating you.
That's right.
No wonder you were embarrassed at the idea of Mon-El seeing through your undershorts.
Are we going to review fashions from the fans?
Someday.
Someday. That's fine.
Wait,
Stupid
I was
letters.
thinking there's something else I wanted to talk about in this story.
Oh,
I don't know. I should have should have written down some notes
dumbass.
because I was going through it today, and I feel like I had a good angle that we could go off on, but now I can't think of what it was. It was
Prisoning
kind of
animals,
well,
shooting
it was.
random ships down.
I feel like it was kind of connected to the idea that, like in the issue where he gets killed, it's kind of ostensibly a Saturn Girl focused issue
Mm-hmm.
where she's this like domineering mother figure type of character, you know?
Yeah, for sure.
And I was trying to think if I could apply that kind of subtext to this story. And I don't know that I can. I can't think of it now. Like if I had anything this afternoon when I was reading this comic, it's lost now.
And she's very deliberately part of the story.
Right. Yeah, but not even specifically about Saturn Girl. Like what's the subtextual point they're trying to get across to the little kids about what life is really like, you know? Like is there some life lesson in this? There's not.
If your friend comes back from the dead, check for the Adam's apple because it may be a chick.
I think maybe I was thinking about Prody more.
Oh,
Like they
yeah.
introduced Prody here. He has these
Mhm.
superior powers. He's freed from prison, but they turn him into a pet, as if he's not intelligent. But clearly he is intelligent. And they don't admit him to the team. And they won't even, like a couple issues
Yeah.
later, they won't even admit him to the super pets without a very strong fight. And I'm like, what is it about Prody that makes him not as good as the Legionnaires? You know, like because he's not tall and he doesn't have arms or whatever. You know, he's a blob. I guess that's all it is. But like, yeah, you rescued him from a zoo, but that doesn't mean that he's actually an unintelligent animal. You know what I mean?
Right. Well, he isn't talking early on. I think that kind of reduces him to being like a tool or something.
Right, but when Chameleon Boy has him turn into a gun, he says, "I communicated with him telepathically," or something like that. To that
Right.
paraphrase, you know. But Chameleon Boy doesn't have telepathy powers, so for him to communicate that way with Prody must mean that Prody has the telepathy powers, and I'm sure that's where they got that idea from. You know, Prody is a very powerful character.
Right, because he has Chameleon Boy's powers and to some extent Saturn Girl's powers.
Right, and then he goes on to heroically sacrifice
Impregnate
himself.
Saturn Girl.
That too. You
Very
got to be a hero to
heroically.
go there, dude. I wouldn't do that with your Prody.
Taking one for the team.
But yeah, maybe that's the road that I was going down, is the Prody angle, and his activity in the subsequent adventures in the death and rebirth of Lightning Lad.
Was Prody 1 the one that joined the pets, or was it 2?
It's 2. Yeah,
Okay.
I don't think Prody 1 ever does anything really except sit on Chameleon Boy's shoulder and then whatever, knock out Saturn Girl and take her place to commit suicide or whatever he does. I think we should talk about this during the actual comic. He must have thought that he was going to commit suicide, you know? But then Mon-El's machine actually grafted his psyche onto the dead body.
If you say so. I think he knew what he was up to. He
You
always
think
liked
he did?
Saturn Girl.
Well, he did, yeah.
Yeah.
And in fact, it's beginning to look like Saturn Girl had a better relationship with Prody than she ever did with Lightning Lad, right?
Oh, yeah.
Because they weren't even involved romantically when he died.
That's right.
And while he's dead, obviously they have no romance.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so it's not the dude who died isn't who Saturn Girl is in love with. It's the dude who was reborn, whoever he is, whether he's the actual Lightning Lad or a Prody Lightning Lad. That's the guy that she likes. So whatever metaphysic happened to bring him back to life changed him into what she loves,
Right.
who she loves. And yeah, the pre-death Lightning Lad was only attractive to Sunboy. He was like, oh shit, Lightning Lad's back, but now he's a girl. That's awesome. Been waiting for this.
Right.
Like all this time, he was like, man, Lightning Lad's hot, but he's a guy. What if he was a girl? Man, that would be so cool. His wishes were fulfilled. Except now she doesn't look like Lightning Lad anymore. Now that she's a member of the team, Sunboy's going to have to go elsewhere to get his lad fix.
What if he had been exposed as an imposter before 5 years later? Would they make him join the Super Pets? Much like Cosmic Boy is dating a sub, Saturn Girl would be married to a member of the Pets.
Okay, wait. When you say exposed, you mean what if Prody
takes his pants off?
What if Prody actually becomes Lightning Lad, and then they find out that he's not actually Garth Rand's Lightning Lad? They find out he's Prody Lightning Lad. Give him the boot, and he with his tail between his legs, he goes and joins a substitute.
Well, no, not the subs. He has to be transferred to the Pets.
Oh, the Pets. Oh, okay. And then Saturn Girl starts dating one of the Pets.
Well, she's already married to him at that point, probably. I guess it depends on what era I found out, but
that'll be funny. But he's a pet, but he's in the form of a human boy.
He hasn't lost his arm yet, right? That's later.
Yeah, it must be later. Boy, what an unlucky Legionnaire.
Yeah, the Luck Lords don't even touch on
Except that's pretty lucky because he died and came back to life. And he lost his arm and then got an awesome metal replacement arm.
Yeah, pretty much any time you call someone unlucky, unless they die, they're actually, you can make as good an argument that they're lucky. One of my artist pals, who's about my age, had cancer a few years ago, but he survived it, and then he had like chicken pox because he grew up in Mexico, and somehow where he lived, he never was exposed to it. And that almost killed him. And then he lived. And he keeps having like these crazy, horrible things happen, but he survives every time.
Yeah.
So it's like you're the unluckiest, but you're actually the luckiest too, because you keep dodging these bullets.
Dude sounds like a survivor.
Yeah. Super good artist. He's actually drawn some professional comics, like
unlike you comics. Or I,
right? Luckier than I am. Yeah. Actually, one of the comics he drew, I think, is being turned into a movie.
Oh shit! More power to him.
Yep. Do you remember that guy wrote in a column about how they should do Untold Tales of the Legion?
Yeah,
talking about like what Mon-El is doing elsewhere.
Right.
They should do one where him and Saturn Girl have to take care of this fungus problem.
I know. I think the fungus story might have been more interesting than the fucking secret of the missing Adam's apple that this one was. I don't think we actually said it when we were going through the story. Maybe we did. Sunboy figured out that Lightning Lad was actually a girl because he didn't have an Adam's apple. Did we say that?
We did. I tried to make a joke about it, but you thought it didn't make sense. I was saying he's attuned to checking for Adam's apples.
Oh, that's right. Yeah.
And I think you were saying, but he would be checking girls for Adam's apples, not guys. I guess to me, I'm thinking he would notice whether it was a boy or a girl because he's always looking.
Yeah, you said he's always checking girls as Adam's apples. And I said, but in this case, he was checking a guy's Adam's apple.
Right.
Yeah. Remember that Aerosmith song called Adam's Apple?
Is it like Dude Looks Like a Lady?
This is off of Toys in the Attic, so it's an early one. But it's like got this Bible stuff. Back when Cain was Abel waiting at the
She ate his Adam's apple?
I guess so, yeah. She ate Adam's apple and unleashed evil into the world, or sin in the world, or whatever.
Were we talking about Adam's apples last week? Or did I have that conversation with someone else about how do women do they literally not have it?
Oh,
same organ or whatever it is, or is it just less prominent?
We did talk about this.
Okay.
At some point. Yeah, I don't know, because like my Adam's apple, it's like a little protrusion on the top of this part, right? Like that's what they're talking about. But this bony, this thing has to be in there, right? I don't know.
Well, you don't have it when you're a kid. When you're like 6, my son doesn't have a big protruding Adam's apple.
It must just grow differently, huh?
I think it's
because it's a bone. Isn't it part of a bone in there? Feels like
it might be like cartilage. But I think it's like what do you call that? A secondary sex characteristic, like something when you hit puberty, like grows.
Beats me. I never went through puberty.
That's obvious.
That's it.
Yeah, I don't know what else to add. You covered it so well.
We're going to have to keep our eyes on Prody, see how the Prody character arc develops. That was Adventure Comics 308. He's not alive yet, and Lightning Lass is now a member of the team. That's all that happened.
And Prody. First appearance of Prody.
Who will save your soul? You can wake up now.